Hey everyone, I'm Lorraine from You'll Know When You Get There, and I'm here to talk to you today with my talk called From Stress to Success. A quote that I heard many years ago was from Wayne Dyer. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I want to start by telling you a story of someone I know that has had to deal with stress in their life since the age of 2 years old. From that age, they've dealt with being separated from their birth mother, being bullied at school because they were different to the other kids at school, being physically, mentally, and emotionally abused by their partners, moved home over 25 times, been accused of and a victim of fraud. They left their marriage of 15 years and were given the label that they were the one in the wrong, to end up being laid in a bed diagnosed with PTSD. They laid in the bed for what seemed like an eternity when suddenly they had a realization. Now, if they decided to lay there and wear that victim t-shirt, this stress would eventually kill them. It was the biggest wake-up call that they'd ever experienced. They decided they needed to take control of their life. The PTSD had taken a massive toll on their mental, their physical, and their emotional state of being. So their very first step was to rest and rejuvenate, and this doesn't happen overnight. They started to journal, to write down how they felt during each day, recognizing the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that came to mind. They also looked at what they were grateful in life, looking at all of those different aspects. And they did this every day and still do it now. They decided they wanted to revisit their childhood, so they took a trip down memory lane. And what they did was they visited the times when life went well and not so well. One of the biggest reasons that they started to turn their life around was that they saw that life had had a pattern. They had seen that what they had experienced throughout this time in their life didn't happen to them, it happened for them. They went on then to develop something called the Thriver mindset. Some of you may know this as the strategy mindset. Now, don't get me wrong, it still doesn't condone anything that had happened in their life. These things are still not right, but what it had done is prepared them for their life ahead. So with this information and their mindset, they were now in control and ready to be the creator of their own story for the rest of their life. See, the thing is, a crisis, an event, and a situation or a circumstance can either destroy you or recreate you, and they knew which one they preferred to choose. They realized that they had achieved this massive breakthrough from this crisis by using the wisdom from their past. So realizing what they'd achieved and what they'd overcome, this adversity in their life so far, it was just time for their body and their mind to take a well-deserved rest. They needed to push pause, they needed to stop, and they needed to reset. See, out of rest comes appropriate action. So my question to you is, do you know when to rest? Knowing that this was going to be the huge turning point in their life, they knew they needed a plan, a vision, a goal. But first, they've got to understand their identity. Who were they? But more importantly, who were they not? What did they love to do? What's important to them in their life? What's the meaning, the purpose, and the bigger goal? So by raising their own self-awareness and understanding, they discovered the reason why the stop button showed up in their life. They were living someone else's life. They were traveling down the wrong path and with the wrong people. A big lesson here is the people you surround yourself with influence your life. So choose the right people to surround yourself with. So once they had this identity, the real version of themselves, people call it the authentic self, and they removed themselves from those wrong people in their life. They set their strategy for life. They knew their purpose, they knew their meaning, and therefore they set their intention and attention. See, the thing is, what you pay attention to creates the feelings, the emotions, which drive our action and deliver the result. So if they were to choose to focus on pain, on grief, on problems and challenges, failure, it would drive that emotion, the feeling, the response, and therefore the action. You would start to question yourself and doubt yourself, causing more stress, more fear and anxiety. And also it could just stop you in your tracks. So they chose to focus their attention on success. They chose to focus on what they already had in their life and not what's missing. A bit like when you go through change, so many people focus on what they will lose rather than what they will gain. Now, for over 20 years, they've delivered training day in, day out on change and stress management techniques to over thousands of people to help them overcome these challenges. And yet these things that we teach others, we don't always use ourselves. And this in itself was so important to recognize, because sometimes all that help we give to others, one day we need it ourselves. After a few months of them working on themselves, they knew they were ready to serve the rest of the world with these powerful life lessons that we're not taught in school. And then their business was born. They were back in control of their life, they focused on success, and they chose to focus on what was within their control. They knew they could not control the external events of life, only how they chose to react to it. They fully understood the events of the past. They knew they couldn't change them, but they knew they had prepared them for the rest of their life, for them to live in the present in order to create their future. So when COVID-19 hit us in March 2020, even though the business was only 6 months old, they didn't see a crisis, they saw an opportunity. They also knew as part of their recovery, they couldn't do it all alone, as they didn't have all the skills or expertise to do it. So they reached out for help and support to help transform the business. They will continue to grow, they'll continue to develop, and they'll also use the lessons of life, adversity and stress that's helped them to build the resilience so that whenever things try to knock them down, they will get up stronger and wiser. Statistics say that around 75 to 90% of doctor visits today are in some way related to stress. 51% of adults suffering from chronic stress experience symptoms of fatigue, headaches, tension in their muscles, and lack of sleep. It also costs the healthcare and social security £20 billion. But the most important statistic of all is death. Stress is related to cancer, to heart disease, to lung ailments, to liver problems, to accidents and suicide. And these are the 6 leading causes of death. But as proven by science and research, and in a book that I read by Kelly McGonigal, the upside of stress, we can change our mindset and use stress to improve our lives and our performance. This kind of mindset shift is a catalyst, not a cure, because when we manage our stress, it gives us the energy, the excitement, the blood rush, and the get up and go. So how do you move from stress to success? Change that lens that you view our world. Control only what's within your control. Know your purpose and your meaning. Set your intention and your attention and gain some perspective and set realistic expectations. Always try something new and embrace it. What you want in life is the other side of your comfort zone. Have dreams and big goals too. Recognize and celebrate all of your wins and listen to how you speak to yourself every single day. You are always listening. Do the basics in life. Eat healthy food, drink water and exercise. And please stay connected to the people, the right people, and be grateful and show gratitude. But one of the most important and life-changing things that will make you a success is to learn to quieten the mind. They use meditation, something they first considered to be a bit woo-woo, but this literally saved their life, and they now teach this within their business too. So if you were to look at all of your life adversities through this new lens, what would that key message you're learning be? And what will be your first step in saving your own life and being a success? Now, you may have wondered who this story is about. It is me, and I share these lessons with you today. It's time to create the story that you want to tell and become what you choose to think about. Because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. By Wayne Dyer. Thank you for listening.